Most organizations don't only hold on to pagan influences, they also cultivate an environment where they, whether unknowingly or knowingly, teach you how to disobey the commandments of Yahuwah. We are now into part 2 of this series, and we are still focusing on Freemasonry. Let's get into it.
They started as a construction team back in about the 1200s in Scotland. That seems to be the origin of it, as best we can tell. They claim they go all the way back to Solomon's Temple, but that's rubbish. There's no evidence of it, and everything says otherwise. They learned how to construct buildings, particularly religious ones, churches and cathedrals and so on. And so, because people in those days were illiterate, they couldn't read and write, in order to determine what their competence level and pay scale was, they developed these little series of handshakes and passwords so that if you moved from one building site to another, you could say the right password and right handshake, and they'd say, right, you're at this level of competence, we can give you this much work and this much pay.
Mind you, there is nothing wrong with providing a space for training. There is nothing wrong with providing a space to cultivate connections and linking people to establish businesses and job markets. But when they ignore the spiritual implications of their symbolisms and their code of conduct, that's where we as a society have a problem.
Was really to look at explaining to the wives and daughters of Freemasons why there are curses in their families. And when those girls wake up, the guys might as well not go anymore. And that's really been what's happened. And I've heard that from a number of cases.
He only did a synopsis of it here. But he was saying that those who are involved in Freemasonry, they normally cultivate a environment where their bloodline is spiritually affected, because there is a trickle-down effect that plays a role in spreading curses based on the oaths that those who are involved in Freemasonry have taken. For example, if they reached a stage where they made an oath saying, may their throat be cut out, and they did the cut gesture, there would be some disease or sickness affecting the throat with either the person who made the oath or any other family member in the bloodline, and this would go down throughout the generations until someone renounced it. Whether you were a willing participant in Freemasonry, whether you knew about your loved one being involved in it or not, once a loved one made an oath, they basically opened a covenant in the bloodline. And this is the spiritual seriousness of it all.
Most of the major cult groups that grew out of Finney's revival in the east coast of America in the mid-1800s, the Mormons, the founder was a Freemason. The Jehovah's Witnesses, the founder was a Knights Templar in Freemasonry. The founder of the Adventists was a Freemason. The Spiritualist Church was involved with it. The Christadelphian one was with it.
And no wonder we see such a large pushback from a lot of these religious organizations when it comes to using and reinstating the name of Yahuwah where his name was removed from, because a lot of these religious organizations were founded on questionable foundations.